Hello and welcome to the channel. This is Rank 10s, and today we will be covering the top 10 military platoons in the modern era. For the number 10 spot on our list, we have the New Zealand Special Air Service. This special task force can trace its roots back to the famous Long Range Desert Group, a British Commonwealth Army unit which fought in the North African desert in World War II. In February 1955, it was decided by the New Zealand government that a squadron based on the British Special Air Service should be formed as part of the New Zealand Army, as an effective and economic contribution to the Far East Strategic Reserve and the British counter-insurgency effort in Malaya. Major Frank Rennie was appointed to form and command the unit, with the decision having been made to recruit mainly from the general public around a cadre of regular force personnel. Over 800 applied, from which 182, including 138 civilians, At number 9 on the list, we have the Australian Special Air Service Regiment. This task force is a highly specialized unit of the Australian Army, renowned for its covert operations and exceptional combat skills. Formed in 1957, the SASR is modeled after its British counterpart and shares the motto, "Who Dares Wins." Known for its expertise in long-range reconnaissance, surveillance, and counterterrorism, the SASR has been deployed to various conflict zones, including Vietnam, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Their operations often involve deep penetration into enemy territory, requiring exceptional physical and mental endurance. The SASR's reputation for courage, discipline, and unwavering commitment to their mission has solidified its place as one of the world's most elite military units. Hitting the 8th spot on our list, we have the Canadian Special Forces Operations Command. This is the Canadian Armed Forces' premier special operations unit. It is tasked with conducting operations in high-threat environments. This includes counterterrorism, hostage rescue, and unconventional warfare. The Canadian Special Forces Operation Command is comprised of several units, such as the Joint Task Force 2, which is Canada's primary counterterrorism unit, and the Canadian Special Operations Regiment, which is focused on unconventional warfare and special reconnaissance. Known for their rigorous training and exceptional capabilities, the Canadian Special Forces Operation Command operators are highly skilled in a variety of combat techniques and are capable of operating autonomously in challenging environments. In the People's Republic of China, the Special Operations Forces of the People's Liberation Army are units that conduct direct action and reconnaissance, including in enemy rear areas, to prepare the advance of friendly forces. They also perform counterterrorism operations, although that mission is formally assigned to the People's Armed Police. The PLA-SOF does not control but may support psychological warfare operations. Each theater command controls their own SOF units. The units rely on external support to conduct missions. Most ground SOF are organized like conventional light infantry units. In 2022, many units were recently converted from conventional forces and likely had capabilities closer to shock troops than special forces. In 2022, the PLA-SOF consisted of 15 Ground Force Brigades, 1 Marine Corps Brigade, 1 Airborne Corps Brigade, and the Rocket Force Reconnaissance Regiment. At number 6 on the list, we have the Indian Army Special Forces. The Paratrooper Special Forces, or Para-SF, are the special forces of the Indian Army. This unit was created in June 1966, in the aftermath of the 1965 Indo-Pakistani War. An impromptu commando unit called Maghoof Force, which took part in the 1965 war, formed the first nucleus of the Permanent Para-Commando Battalion, which was to be raised under the Parachute Regiment. By 1969, the unit had grown into 2 battalions, viz., the 9 Para and the 10 Para. The unit's first combat missions were conducted during the 1971 Indo-Pakistani War, in which they undertook raids against Pakistan's military. In 1988, 6 Paras spearheaded the only foreign intervention operation conducted by Indian Armed Forces to restore democracy in Maldives. Spetsnaz are special forces in many post-Soviet states. Historically, this term referred to the Soviet Union's Spetsnaz GRU, Special Operations Units of the main intelligence directorate of the Soviet General Staff. Today it refers to special forces branches and task forces subordinate to ministries including defense, internal affairs, or emergency situations in countries that have inherited their special purpose units from the now-defunct Soviet security agencies. The Imperial Russian Army had Hunter Commando units, formed by a decree of Emperor Alexander III in 1886, which saw action in World War I prior to the Russian Revolution of 1917. Also, during World War I, General Alexei Brulislov became one of the first senior commanders to use tactics of the fast-action shock troops. General Staff Reconnaissance Unit, more commonly known as Sayeret Matkal, is the special reconnaissance unit of Israel's General Staff. It is considered one of the premier special forces units of Israel. First and foremost, a field intelligence gathering unit conducting deep reconnaissance behind enemy lines to obtain strategic intelligence. Sayeret Matkal is also tasked with a wide variety of special operations, including black operations, as well as combat search and rescue, counterterrorism, hostage rescue, HUMINT, irregular warfare, long-range penetration, conducting manhunts, and reconnaissance beyond Israel's borders. The unit is modeled after the British Army and Special Air Service. Taking the unit's motto, "Who Dares Wins," the unit is the Israeli equivalent of SAS. It is directly subordinate to the Special Operations Division of the IDF's Military Intelligence Directorate. The U.S. Army Delta Force, also known as the 1st Special Forces Operational Detachment Delta, is a special operations unit that carries out counterterrorism, hostage rescue, and other missions. The unit's main focus is capturing or killing high-value targets and dismantling terrorist cells. Delta Force is called upon for hostage rescue missions. They also are responsible for direct action. This is when the unit is involved in direct action missions such as raids and sabotage. They conduct special reconnaissance and protective services as well. Delta Force works with the Central Intelligence Agency and protective services to protect senior leaders in war-torn countries. Delta Force is known for its professional demeanor, secrecy, and high success rate. The unit is under the special operational control of the Joint Special Operations Command, but is administered by the Army Special Operations Command. Delta Force is the group that you call upon when the Navy SEALs are captured or under scrutiny. Consider them the hammer of the military of the USA, and consider the Navy SEALs as the surgical scalpel. Landing at the number 2 spot on our list is the Royal Marines, also known as the Royal Marines Commandos, and officially as the Corps of Royal Marines. This is the United Kingdom's amphibious special operations capable commando force, one of the 5 fighting arms of the Royal Navy. They provide a company-strength unit to the Special Forces Support Group. The Royal Marines trace their origins back to the formation of the Duke of York and Albany's Maritime Regiment of Foot. On the 28th of October, 1664, the 1st Royal Marines Commando Unit was formed at Deal in Kent on 14th February 1942 and designated the Royal Marine Commando. The Royal Marines have seen action across many conflicts, but do not have battle honors as such, but rather the Great Globe itself was chosen in 1827 by King George IV in their place to recognize the Marine service and successes in multiple engagements in every quarter of the world. Arriving at the number 1 spot on our list is the United States Army Rangers. These are elite U.S. Army personnel who have served in any unit which has held the official designation of Ranger. The term is commonly used to include graduates of the Ranger School. Even if they have never served in a Ranger unit, the vast majority of Ranger School graduates never serve in Ranger units and are considered Ranger qualified. The 75th Ranger Regiment is an elite airborne light infantry combat formation within the United States Army Special Operations Command. The 6 battalions of the modern Rangers have been deployed in Korea, Vietnam, Grenada, Panama, Afghanistan, and Iraq. The Ranger Regiment traces its lineage to 3 of 6 battalions raised in World War II, and to the 5,000th 307th Composite Unit, known as Merrill's Marauders, and then reflagged as the 475th Infantry, then later as the 75th Infantry. The Ranger Training Brigade, headquartered at Fort Moore, is an organization under the United States Army Training and Doctrine Command, and is separate from the 75th Ranger Regiment. It has been in service in various forms since World War II. The Ranger Training Brigade administers Ranger School, the satisfactory completion of which is required to become Ranger qualified and to wear the Ranger tab. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe and comment down below who you think should have made the list.